Hey guys, Bobby here, and yesterday the MusicBed shook things up by finally launching their subscription-based service. Now, if you want to know what the music licensing landscape now looks like for wedding films and other projects, then this video is for you. So this MusicBed announcement was something that we were expecting. In fact, arguably it's launching later than expected, and they were really the last company of the main ones to make the move to a subscription-based model. Music licensing options have really changed and evolved over the last handful of years, and since the music you choose for a wedding or any film is so essential, I wanted to share my thoughts on the main services that I see being used now and how they compare to one another. Just to note, I'm not affiliated with any of these companies officially. I am going to link their websites below, but those are not affiliate links and I don't get any kickback for them. Now, the four big licensing sites that I'm going to talk about are the MusicBed, SongFreedom, Soundstripe, and Artlist. And in this video, I'm going to focus mostly on three of these as I don't have personal experience using Artlist, though I will touch on them in some areas. Now, I think the best way to compare them is to break it down into categories. So I'm going to rank these companies and share my thoughts as far as pricing, library, both size and quality, customer service, and user experience. So let's jump in. First up, let's talk about the pricing. Now, of course, this ranking doesn't really tackle what you're getting for your money, but simply based on the monthly or annual cost from the cheapest to the most expensive, it goes Soundstripe, Artlist, SongFreedom, and then MusicBed. Soundstripe is priced at $15 per month and appears to be month to month, and it gives you unlimited access to their library, being able to use those songs and license them for practically any use. Artlist works similarly to Soundstripe in the use and general lack of limitations and is priced at $16.60 per month when billed annually. SongFreedom is priced at $60 per month with an annual contract, though they often run specials, which is how I got signed up. I believe mine was $99 for 6 months and then $30 per month thereafter with an annual contract. This lets me license most of their library for weddings, but songs they consider premium cost extra. It's $10 per license, and things outside of weddings like corporate and commercial work are priced separately as well. The MusicBed comes in at the most expensive and has a variety of options. Mainly it's $79.99 for unlimited wedding licenses and $99.99 for unlimited commercial licenses, and those are two separate contracts. They have other plans too for things like YouTube, nonprofits, and things of that nature. They license per song as well still, but these monthly payments could actually save you a pretty large sum if you've been using them already. And it's important to note, however, that they haven't been the most transparent in this recent announcement, as if you dig a bit deeper, you'll find that only around half of their library currently works on their subscription model. I think the process of making this switch has been more difficult than they thought it would be, and that as time goes on, they'll eventually get most of their library on board, but at least for now, that isn't the case. Now let's move on to the libraries, and what I really want to talk about in this is both the size and the quality, which I talked about before. And just to note, I think this category kind of carries the most weight in the decision for me, but that might just be me. My first rank in this category is the MusicBed, and quite frankly, they win in both size and quality. They don't have as many radio hits as SongFreedom does, but at least for us, we don't really care to use songs like that anyways. Outside of that, the sheer number of available tracks combined with the quality, which is really top notch on almost everything I hear on there, is unparalleled at this point. I want to specifically point out the variety and the level of quality on both vocal and instrumental tracks, as well as that may be important to your specific company. Next up, in my opinion, is SongFreedom. Now, their library doesn't seem quite as large as MusicBed, and while there is definitely some quality stuff, I don't find it quite as good as MusicBed. But if you are looking to use well-known songs, SongFreedom is going to be your best bet, although do note that you'll probably pay $10 extra per song, as it is probably going to be ranked as a premium song. Third on this list, I'm putting both Soundstripe and Artlist as a tie. I haven't explored Artlist nearly as much as the others. A lot of what I hear sounds pretty good, but much like my problem with Soundstripe, pretty much any quality track is instrumental. There's an extreme lack of high quality vocal tracks, and it's very noticeable. Beyond that, while there is plenty of individually high quality tracks or artists, I find myself sifting through quite a bit more not as high quality music when looking through Soundstripe. I will say, however, that Soundstripe has definitely been putting an emphasis on expanding and bringing in more artists, so I hope to see them address these issues in the future. Next category is the customer service, and please note that since I'm not subscribed to Artlist, I'm not going to rank them in here. I have dealt with support from the other three though, and while I will rank them, know that I've had a generally good experience with all of them. So if I have to put them in order, I would rank Soundstripe as first in this category. I think customer support has been a core value of their company since the beginning, and it really shows. There is near instant support available very often, and they even go so far as to help you find a song you're looking for or direct you to songs that might work well for your project. Next, I'd probably put MusicBed and SongFreedom as a tie, quite honestly. I've dealt with both to resolve problems and questions, and they are both definitely customer oriented, and both were pleasant experiences. However, Soundstripe really stood out to me in this category. I also feel the need to rank MusicBed and SongFreedom a little bit lower in this because of their casually shady tactics and pricing. MusicBed for not making it clear that their full library isn't available through their subscription, and SongFreedom for not making it clear that the $99 for 6 months deal was a 12-month commitment. Lastly is the user experience, and this is going to cover things like the website, the layout, different features, and searching or browsing of the libraries. I'd rank MusicBed at the top of this list. They have an easily navigable site. Their search function works really well, and they always have updated playlists of different genres or themes that help me find new music pretty frequently. Next up for me is probably Soundstripe. I like their layout in general, but I do have a few dislikes. First, I hate that dumb pop-up that tells me so-and-so from Michigan just signed up, or 700 people have signed up in the last day, and I'm pretty sure it's not even real. Second, while they do have a lot of playlists that they do update, which I love, they seem to just shuffle around the same music. This is in part due to their smaller library, but it's still frustrating. Other than that, the site works as it should, the search functions are great, and it's generally a good experience. Much like the others, SongFreedom is generally a fine experience, but I like the layout the least of the three websites, and I don't find their playlist to be as useful to me. And more than anything, the search function and the play functions just seem to not work sometimes. All in all, I can find what I want eventually, but the site feels less polished and a little bit more clunky to me in general. So after all that, where does this leave us? I think all of these are good services that can get you what you need, but I think the best way to put it is that I feel they're all priced appropriately for what they offer. I also think that while you can find music for any type of video on any of these platforms, Soundstripe and Artlist feel more appropriate for YouTube and background tracks on corporate videos, whereas SongFreedom and MusicBed seem to work better for me for weddings. Personally, I plan to keep Soundstripe as I love being able to use their stuff for corporate and commercial videos as well as YouTube videos, and their instrumental library is definitely sufficient for that, and I hear they're going to be expanding their vocal tracks. For weddings though, I plan to probably ditch SongFreedom and move over to MusicBed, as they simply have a better selection of high quality music, and especially when it comes to vocal tracks. As with anything guys, definitely do your own research to figure out what is best for you and your company, but I hope this video started you off in the right direction. And if you found this helpful, I'd love to have you give it a thumbs up, and as always, please subscribe and follow along for more videos.